it means to me. At a local club. To belong to. Uh, what the heck was his name? I forget. But the Fanny Fox Memorial Bridge is behind there. They ran off the bridge and into the water. Boy, I don't know. That'd be tough to deal with. And I'm looking at the Washington Monument. So these are little chairs along the side. And here, you can see the light is so bright. Oh, that's a bike share thing. We have bike share all over the country or the city. So you belong for, I don't know, maybe $50 a year or something like that. And you could grab one of these for a half hour for free and drop it off at another place to eliminate a lot of cars on the street. And it's pretty, I walk most places. Man, we have two cars because we live in the suburb, and now we have two here and hardly use them at all. And they're old enough that people won't even hijack them. We got a lot of hijackings in this street too. And I was teasing my mechanic the other day. He left the car for me with the keys in him, I think, somewhere. And I called him the next day and I said, I didn't see the car there. What happened? And he was worried that somebody. I was just teasing him. Well, actually, what I want to talk about crime. Only the government will give you, listen to this, $100,000, probably a hell of a lot more than $100,000, to start a business if you have a conviction of marijuana, or if you're a salesperson of marijuana, which means a drug dealer. Any of those, what they're doing, this is the state of New York. They set aside $200 million to give these people who have been convicted of marijuana or they're low-income people to get into the marijuana business. They expect to be a booming, billions of dollars. So what they're giving, and particularly in New York, so they'll pay your rent. I mean, like paying rent in New York must be at $10,000 a month, So they'll give you a huge grant money to have a storefront to sell marijuana. Now, that to me is amazing. You can't think of what the government will do. You have to look and see what's there and just have it surprise the hell out of you. You never dream of it. Yes, I have a drug conviction, so that means I'm eligible for a special grant to start a business. Oh my God. We get a lot of members, I think, that have felonies or whatever, and they're asking for felony. Yeah, don't worry about that. There's so much money. There's some set aside for that, but there's more in general. So this is only $200 million, but they're also probably eligible for a lot of the other programs. So don't let anything in your head you think is right about grants. The biggest problem of living nowadays is getting old shit out of your mind. What you think is right, you have to throw that down the toilet. Yeah, and it's hard. Me starting a new business, I had to unlearn everything I learned to be successful in my last business, because it took me 2 or 3 businesses to get one going, and then I was very successful finally with that one, and then that wasn't going so well anymore. Nothing lasts forever, and it was hard to unlearn what I thought was right, and that's a big handicap. So that's why, and if you haven't started a business, haven't done things before, you read things that other people tell you that's right, like me or some other jackass on the internet. Say, hey, this is right. Hey, they've got to do it that way. That's bullshit. It may have worked for somebody sometime, but whether it works for you is a slim chance to none. And you got to carve your own way. That's what it's all about. And you carve your own way by not giving up. By the way, let me give you a little more data on this thing. Okay, what they're giving out, they just passed a bill in New York, and it's really for they're worried about people in New York City because rent is so bad. Uh, they're giving applicants access to stockpiles of drug grown by local farmers and offering sweeteners like storefronts leased by the state. So the state will lease a storefront for you to be in the marijuana business. The only catch is to be one of the state's first licensed retailers, you or a member of your family must have been convicted of a marijuana related offense. You or a member of your family. So, so your husband or your wife was in jail or whatever in marijuana, you're eligible for this grant. Wow, that's cool. Okay, to that end, the governor uh, looks like it's going to pass $200 million in this year's budget to support fledgling businesses, money that would be spent on finding, securing, and renovating storefronts for realtors. That need for the state assistance is particularly acute in New York City. Okay, under the law passed in March that permitted the possession of recreational use for marijuana in limited amounts to adults, half of all marijuana real estate licenses, including those for growers and other parts of the supply chain, are earmarked for so half the licenses to sell marijuana in the state of New York are earmarked for women, distressed farmers. Oh, I'm a distressed farmer. I don't know what that looks like. I guess it's financial. So I'm making a bad joke. And individuals who have lived in communities disproportionately impacted by the drug war. You know, they were putting more people in jail in low-income communities than they were out in the rich suburbs, right? Mr. Alexandria said between 102 licenses will go to people who are convicted of marijuana-related offense before the drug was legalized, or those who have a parent or guardian child, spouse, or dependent with a marijuana conviction. Wow, I mean, that's pretty cool. Now to find out management office's website, Cannabis Management Office. Isn't that cool? We got a Cannabis Management Office website in New York, and the state's Cannabis Control Board. So that's what I would look for. I would look for the, if you're moved to New York or you're in New York, you want to know about this, go and search for the Cannabis Control Board of New York City. And so you want to get first in line to get free rent, I guess, for a year. You fix it up. I mean, it's got to be worth $100,000, $200,000, probably even more, to be in the business. Now, what could be better than that, right? And that's why it's all about exploring and not taking people's advice too seriously. Some of it's good, of course, but there's too much out there, particularly old people like me. Man, I would have never guessed this. Man, it's amazing. Bad cord. Your sound is blurred. Oh, my sound is blurred. Well, it's probably wind. Uh, this may not be. uh, Sound going back and forth. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I'll pass now because I see people aren't putting up with it. Uh, so we'll try this another day. Okay. Okay. Thanks for putting up with me. And remember, letsgohelp.com is where we give you personal help to find and apply for any government grant, or it's this one, or tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of others. I mean, I feel we're the only person in the country that gives unlimited personal help to apply for every government grant you're eligible for. That's what we do there. And we also give out our own grant. Every month, you're eligible to apply. We give out $30,000 of personal grants to people, and it's the easiest application in the world. The only thing you have to do is tell us how you would spend $1,000. Is that voice any better now? I wonder. Uh, I want to start a business. Need some advice about keeping my tech. Uh, well, anything to start a business, I mean, there's free help. Someone don't go on Google and look for help to start a business. Please don't. No, I mean, there's too much free help given out. You want to start with, uh, and the government just gave out, hundreds of millions of dollars to nonprofit organizations that help anybody start their business, and that's what you want to do. Is find free help to start a business. It's different in every state, and there's probably a dozen, 2 dozen offices in every state that their only job is to help you start a business. A good place to start is your local small business development centers, but that's only just one of many. If you go to SBA.gov and in there you put local help, and if you search on that, you'll find a web page that you can put in your zip code and find out all the local nonprofits and everything that help you start a business. It's okay. All the local help to start a business there. And so SBA.gov, because if you start looking in Google, you're just going to wind up with some huckster like me who wants to sell you something. And these other people who give out the free, they don't advertise in Google. So that's why you can't find them. So it's best that you use the free stuff and don't ask for a grant when you're looking for business. You want help. And that's what you want to do, because that's the best way to get into the system of finding out where the grants are, how good they are, and wherever it is. If you just call up and say, hey, I want a grant to start a business, yeah, you're going to be thought of as just a selfish bastard who wants a lot of money. and you're not sympathetic to help. I mean, they'll do what they have to, but you need more than that, and you may be wrong about you need a grant. There's too many other ways to get money and start businesses that don't even require a grant if you stretch your imagination. But if you're starting, like anything, we think that somebody just write me a big check and all my problems are solved, and that's not true in life. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it isn't, and you have to investigate options in life. There's too many options to do things different. I've started all my businesses successful. No, I only started the successful ones without money. The ones that failed, I went out and got money for. Now that's a clue. Because you don't know enough. If you're starting your business, you don't know enough about the business to do that. And that's why any money you do get probably will piss away in the wrong places anyway. If you have money that piss away, more power to you. Yeah, I can't argue with that. I guess my voice is a little better, isn't it? I have an invention that I want to bring to life, and a grant. Yes, there are, but don't look for a grant. Please, you have an invention, don't look for a grant, look for help. Okay, and the best place to get help for your invention is, number one, is not those invention companies. Please don't go to an invention company if you have an invention and you want help. They're just going to figure out ways to get money at you, and you think it's good, and they will promise you it's good, and you're going to get nowhere. I mean, there may be, you get hit by lightning and something happens, but don't do that, please. Because there's free help with that. That's even better. I mean, again, if you go to Americas, AMERICAS, and then SBDC.org, the people there will do the same thing that these invention companies do, that will charge you $7,000, $10,000. They're always investigated by the FTC for lying to people. You don't want to go and work with people who all they're after is your money. That's a hooker. That's not a long-time relationship. And the people that I send you to get paid whether they help you or not. So that's why they're not going to kiss your ass as much as the invention company, who's going to get a big payday as soon as you write that check. So they're going to kiss your ass until they get the check, and then they'll do something that will maybe look a little nice, but it won't be worth what the hell he did. And so that's why you want to go to these free places. They're there. I mean, I started learning about all this stuff because I would help Fortune 500 companies. I would, these Fortune 500 companies call me. They have problems like this. They have inventions or whatever, and I get all this stuff for free, and I'd mark it up and put my fees on it and give them the free stuff from the government. They're just too lazy to get them themselves. So that's why now I devote my life to making sure people know about all this stuff that they could get themselves. If you just do a little elbow grease and do something in life and do something about it. You just not complain that you don't have money to do something. I think that's a sin in life. There are too many problems to solve, too many ways to do things to have that attitude. But it comes to us easily. I know. I get that way too. I mean, it's something in living in America with all this junk going on and media and everything convincing you that this, that, or the other thing. And it doesn't. I mean, that's why my first two businesses failed. I was doing it like everybody else told me. And I wasn't having fun. And I thought, God, here I am. I'm failing everything I do, and I'm still not having fun. And that's why I changed the whole scheme. I said, well, I'm going to have fun first because there's no guarantee I'm going to be successful or not. So you have fun first instead of doing all this stuff that you're not having fun, because someday you'll be happy and successful. And that wasn't happening. So I flip it around and say, well, I'm going to have fun first. And the worst thing is that I fail. Oh, I failed again all the time. I failed before. Nothing really happened. Nobody cares if you fail. I think that's what stopped me from doing things. I used to worry if I failed, what people would say or talk about me or whatever. And after I failed a couple of times, I see we're all so selfish about our own life. We really don't care about you. And that was a quick realization. And then I said, well, hey, if failing really doesn't matter either. So why am I postponing fun because I'm afraid of failure? And failure doesn't mean anything. No, I'll have fun first. So anything I do now, I want to make sure I'm having fun doing it. Yeah, and I think it's important or whatever. And so I'm winning already. And I don't have to wait to I'll make $1 million in 10 years, or I may be dead in 7. Probably will be, to tell you the truth. So how do you do now? What's important to you now? How do you have fun now? And you change it around, and that gives you more motivation than anything. I think that also gives you that people are attracted to that more than anything too. You're trying to be perfect, and you're trying to do what everybody thinks you should be doing and everything. Then you're not you. So you don't forget, the best thing about you is what's screwed up about you. The best thing about you is your weird stuff. And everybody tries to kick that out of you because that's not, thank you. Thank you, man. Because that's not, acceptable behavior. But man, it's you. It's like telling a tulip not to be green. The tulip has to be green. You're going to make it purple, it's going to die, or the grass. We're all meant to be something that is inside of us. And most people just beat it out of us for most of our life, particularly in our early life. They're always trying to be like something else, something whatever, and not you. What you have inside you is the best you have to give to the rest of us. And if you're not giving your best, you're not the happiest, and you're not contributing as much as you really can. But that took me a long time to learn. And that, I still keep relearning it. That's why I love giving that advice to hear what I believe. Every day, it's hard to do that. So it's great to hear, holy shit, yeah, I believe that. So I should do that more. That's why I love my work and doing that. It's hard. There's a culture that, loved ones and everything, they don't want you to be hurt. So they try to protect you. Don't do that. You're going to fail. Yes, you are. Go out and fail. Because if you don't do that, you're not going to learn. Yeah. Uh, 211 said there's no funding by area. 211. Well, 211, that doesn't matter. So that's just one place that said no. Now, what you have to do when you call 211 is you call them, see what they say. But now, I don't know what you want money for, but maybe if it's rent. So, okay, now there we're looking at, usually when somebody said there's nothing in your area, they're just saying that's because of a national program or whatever. But you got people, they could be wrong. So you get one bureaucrat on 211 giving you some advice, and you're going to trust that? No, you can't do that. Yeah. And so what you do, if it's rent, then you go into 211 and you put rent in there and for rent assistance, and you'll get 20 more, maybe 15, maybe 10, maybe 30 offices that help people with their rent. Okay, now you have to go to do the real work. You get on the phone with every one of those offices. Do you hear me? That's the only way you're going to do it. And you call each one of them and you say, I have a problem with rent. Do you guys help or not? And if you don't, can you suggest somebody who does? And it's a numbers game. It's like getting a sales call. It's like getting a job. It's like getting anything else. You have to go and then get lucky. And that's how you get lucky. You make 50 calls and you get lucky. That's how luck happens. You stumble into it. And they're in the business of helping people with rent problems, as opposed to one clerk who answers the phone. And if you have a dozen, 2 dozen places in your area that help people with rent, you want to talk to each one of those offices, because they're the ones who are going to know something. Oh yeah, there's something in the back cushion somebody talked about or whatever, that it comes out. And that's what we have to do really in everything in life. We want it easy, of course. I do too. Yeah. And my Smiley, who I live with, was helping some refugees to get dental help. Man, and she's good at this stuff too. It has been taking her days and days to find the right office to get it. She's finding it. So many people give her the wrong information. And again, these are people in the business. This is not easy, but it's there. And everything in life is that way. The good stuff. And forcing yourself to do the good stuff is the way you'll grow the most in society. If you're looking for everything to be easy, I just have to do this and that, you're not going to grow. And you're not going to be resilient enough to survive the next hard time in life. So put on your big boy pants, your big girl pants, or whatever it is, or no pants at all. It doesn't matter how you do it because you're on the phone. And start banging away. Stay on hold, call back, make notes. There's, if you really need it, there's no easy way. But it's, you still have hope, and the stuff is there. It happens again and again to only people who really bang like hell. And another thing that happens when you do that is you see other kinds of options that you didn't even know to ask about. That's why it's important to keep a nice attitude when you talk to people on the phone, because they're handling phone calls all the time. And so, be polite, be nice, and just ask for help. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I'm in trouble. And as humans, we want to help other humans do that. But if you're a digit, if you're just an email address or whatever, use it if you have to, but try to get on the phone, because it's easier to help you. It's easier to understand your problem better, to give help. And some will help you and a lot won't. And that's just life. And if you know an easier way, because your option is getting nothing, and you know what that's like, and that's not fun. Let's see, traffic here. Actually, the sun, I don't know if my camera was this galaxy from doesn't show in the sunlight very well. Yeah. Well, listen, I think I got to take off, guys, and talk to you tomorrow. I hope. A nice day today. It's probably maybe 50, 60, which is better than 30s and 40s, which it has been here for a while. But thanks for putting up with me, and I hope I could help. And don't forget, letsgohelp.com is where we give unlimited personal help for you to get grants from the government. And also, if you want to take our free masterclass course in grants, that's on letsgofreehelp.com. And we have a masterclass course on getting government grants. And that's letsgofreehelp.com. Help! I need somebody. Help! Not just anybody. I probably need a voice coach too. Take care.